Into the Spider-Verse is one of my favorite comic book films ever made. It made huge leaps in bringing a more artistic appeal to CG animation, and it perfectly captured the essence of what a comic book feels like to read. I would love to see more stories told in this world, but the problem is, it took years of research and development to innovate the style of the film. It took so long, in fact, that at the end of the process, the creative team behind the film started to implement machine learning into their workflow. And since the film's release in 2018, it will be 4 years until we get the sequel. So in the meantime, the question I'm asking is it possible to replicate the style of the film in a procedural manner? We've been experimenting with a lot of AI tools here at the studio, in particular AI image generation. Last week I had a huge breakthrough with a program called Stable Diffusion, and I think this method will allow us to tell a story in the Spider-Verse universe by letting us take a real piece of footage and taking it into the Spider-Verse.
Dean, you have something cool to show me, right? I'm not looking
I do
at
have something cool to show you.
I don't want you to spoil it.
We put out a video called The Death of VFX. You broke new ground with AI image generation. I found some new ground, and I'm gonna break that ground now in front of you. Here is my first test.
Wow, it looks like you're an arcane.
Yeah.
Like, this stuff usually looks like garbage, and yours doesn't look like garbage. You got any more?
Let me show you a little more. This is me in the popular film Man of Steel.
That looks really good. That's like deepfake level quality.
I call it the stable fake.
The stable fake. The closest we got to like an animation run through Stable Diffusion that looked anywhere decent was like the low polygon Jurassic Park test. But even then it's like all over the place. Just every once in a while there's a glimpse like, oh, that almost worked. But if you could fix that, you basically make it so people can make animations without having to actually hand draw every frame. They can just take video, and you appear to have fixed it. How are you doing this?
We're applying a process that you have used previously. When you were running those deepfakes, the program you were using, Deepface Lab, would kick out these stabilized face sets.
Yeah.
I applied that process here, did a track of the face, punched in on that, exported that, and then ran that through Stable Diffusion. What that does is it really just allows a consistent character to emerge.
Are you using a locked seed here?
Nico, what does that mean?
All right, tech time. How does diffusion models work? In the simplest of terms, it's a noise pattern that the computer looks at and tries to interpret an image from. It's basically the electronic equivalent of looking at clouds and trying to see what they look like. It's like, oh, it's kind of a face with a hat. That kind of looks like an alligator. What you're doing here is you're basically telling Stable Diffusion, like, take this noise pattern and interpret it as Dean from Arcane. And because it's a picture of you with the noise put on top, you know, we kind of already have your likeness, but it has some flexibility to kind of put that style in there. The problem is, Stable Diffusion on each frame usually changes the noise. So you have a blotch here that gets viewed as shadow, but the next frame, now all the blotches are in different spots, so maybe the hair is a little bit different, and there's a shadow over here, and the eye got adjusted weird. But what you're doing is you're locking the noise, so it's the same noise pattern in every frame. The problem with that is when things move under that noise pattern, you're gonna see everything kind of like stick to the spots.
And it's like you pause on one frame and it looks really good, but I'm wearing a wristwatch in this one frame, and then the next frame I'm not.
But you're solving that problem by locking everything to the face and having the face just locked to the middle of the frame, so the noise stays locked on top.
So I'm able to achieve this art style thanks to a guy named NitroSock on this website called Hugging Face. He's created these different Stable Diffusion models that have specific training on different art styles. And he's also created a model for Into the Spider-Verse, and you can apply the same process. As a matter of fact, I took a scene from Spider-Man 2 and applied the Into the Spider-Verse model.
I drove Spider-Man away.
He was the only one who could have stopped Octavius.
Yes.
Whoa.
Is the result.
Wow.
So that's J. Jonah Into the Spider-Verse.
Wow.
Wow. The face is the most important thing, and in the face, the eyes are the most important thing. I can see where he's looking, and I can see what he's thinking.
I really want to take this process we're seeing here, because this J. Jonah Jameson shot is my favorite. I would love to see this style applied to maybe the MCU films.
Wait. Spider-Verse took 4 years to make, and thousands of artists. You have the arrogance to think that you can just, one man with one computer, make Any shot a Spider-Verse shot?
Well, I might need one other man with one other computer, and that guy's name is Fenner. I think with the help of Fenner, we could maybe take a look at the style of the Spider-Verse films and try to replicate that in Nuke. Not only would we have procedurally generated faces from Stable Diffusion, we would have a procedurally generated look from those films.
I have one challenge for you. Can you give me some new Spider-Verse shots that aren't just other frames with the filter? Like, can you show me that you can truly create Spider-Verse on your own using this technique?
Any excuse to put on a Spider-Man costume is a worthy one to me. I will make my Spider-Verse fan film. All right, Fenner. We have decided to move forward, putting the MCU into the Spider-Verse. We're gonna pull up the movie and we're gonna dissect it frame by frame and figure out how can we build a system that procedurally replicates that look so that we can plug a shot in and it'll already look like it's coming out of the Spider-Verse.
Sweet, I love it. Let's do it.
All right, let's do this one last time.
The first thing I'm seeing here, anything that has exponential glow has that comic book kind of halftone pattern.
The transition from dark to light always has that halftone pattern. You'll see in the shadows on Spider-Man's face, you see the cross hatching.
That's not a crazy effect for us to do. Like, you just have basically a simple luma here. We can have the highlights reveal a halftone pattern, shadow areas, that can reveal our crosshatch pattern.
There's another post effect here that I think is critical to achieving the look. You guys can see in the deep background, the colors begin to separate and break apart, and that's chromatic aberration. Without using depth of field, this allowed them to create a separation between the subject and the background.
And also, this is the sort of stuff we should be adding in, like the Spidey sense squiggle lines and stuff.
Yeah, and here, like, motion blur is, it's almost kind of like a ghosting, stepping.
So that's something to pay attention to as well.
A lot of times in the movie, the foreground character will be on 2s, so they'll move every other frame, but the background is on 1s. And it'll move every frame. Anytime we have a character on an abstract background, we should totally do 2s. The biggest thing about this film's aesthetic, they embraced imperfections. They brought imperfections back into CG, which is so perfect. Whether that's the offset lines you see on a character's iris or sudden pop frames that are from a completely different art style, all of these things lend themselves to AI-generated imagery. Well, I feel like we kind of have it.
Highlights are going to reveal our halftone patterns. Shadows are going to reveal crosshatch pattern.
Chromatic aberration.
Chromatic aberration for separating out background from foreground. And then also paying attention to those style frames. And that's just like, maybe we run like 3 frames through Stable Diffusion. Just lean heavy into the Jack Kirby art style. Lean heavy into like an anime art style. Like,
I think what we need to do is test this process on a shot from No Way Home to see if it's actually possible to bring a real Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. All right, guys, we have our first Spider-Verse test ready to watch. All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Wow. It looks like he's in the Spider-Verse.
Oh, dude! Holy smokes! It's like it's so consistent. Yeah, Fenner just did like a little bit of magic on it, and then it just looks perfect. It looks like something that a professional animation studio created for Across the Spider-Verse. So with this Andrew Garfield test working, I think we have our look dialed in, and we're ready to start diving into this Spider-Verse short. We're gonna write and edit a little piece using footage from the MCU films and Into the Spider-Verse. And Fenner's gonna take a bunch of those shots and run them through his Nuke script, thus applying the Spider-Verse look to these MCU shots. In the meantime, we have a few original scenes that we need to film. So I'm gonna squeeze into our dumbest Spider-Man suit and hop in front of the green screen. And with the help of Matt, I'm gonna shoot some plates that are basically just gonna end up as reference for Stable Diffusion. We'll run my face independently through Stable Diffusion to get me looking like a Spider-Verse Tom Holland. And then we'll isolate the pajama suit in Stable Diffusion and really push it to look like the suit from Spider-Man Homecoming. All we need is one usable frame, and then we can use this program called EB Synth to do a style transfer of that image back onto the original plate. And when Fenner combines the face with the suit and his Nuke magic, it'll look like an animated shot of Tom Holland in the Spider-Verse.
It's like, I don't know what, I mean, it looks great. I have no idea what I'm looking at. I can't tell if you're just playing me clips from the Spider-Verse movie or not.
No, this is what I wanted to show you. So you saw me yesterday. I was like, Sam's gonna think this is super lame. But you add, once you add the cool filter, you become the real Spider-Man.
Whoa, what?
And
Dude,
so then on
you're
this
running
one-
through EV-Synth 2?
So the costume is through EV-Synth and the face is through Stable Diffusion. So that
That's
was,
so crazy.
at the end of the day, I was just in stupid pajamas.
If you guys want like a free Oscar, just do something original with this too. Like,
I think that's the
That's
next
next.
one.
Hey, Nico. Yo. So we're having a freaking blast and we're getting some really cool results. I have like a few reservations, I feel like. There's an element of this where I just hit generate on this button and just get this sweet face out that looks just like this film I love. I kind of question myself. I'm like, are we just stealing from these artists that we super respect? I don't know. You've been messing with this stuff longer than anyone here, and I just wonder like what your perspective is on that.
I mean, it just comes down to like being open about things, right? Like, you guys didn't make the Spider-Verse style. If you made like a short film and you just used the Spider-Verse style and you didn't credit them or acknowledge it and you just said, no, this is mine, like, yeah, that'd be a dick move, right? There's nothing wrong with using someone's style. You just have to be honest about it. Oh, you took inspiration from that person? Then don't pretend that you invented it. Just give that person credit. Who cares if you use an AI? It's no different than using tracing paper, right? It's like, so what? Like, give credit where credit's due. If you want it to be yours, bring something to the table that's yours. Make something fun, bring your own voice to it. Everybody stands on the backs of giants. Everybody's benefited from all the hard work other people have done. So we can't act like now something like, oh, you can't use someone else's style. It's like, no, you can use their style, but just say it's their style. It's what you create, it's what you say. It's like, yeah.
That makes sense to me. You know, if the AI is trained on billions of images, I mean, we're trained on billions of images, you know? It's like hip hop. It's like samples, you know?
Yeah.
But there is a line.
It's up to the audience to be moral people and support people that, you know, create, and don't just support people that rip people off, you know? I mean, you're in it, right? You're in it. So you've acted, you've performed, you're saying something, you're doing something, even like, yeah, you're good.
All right, Nico, I'm pretty set at ease now. I think we have the creative energy now to wrap this piece out. And I can't wait to show it to you.
So we are using AI at every level of this piece, from AI generated roto to AI generated images, all sorts of crazy things. But the main thing we're doing with AI is we're using it as a tool. We're not using it to create this entire piece. It's not actually, you know, taking away creativity. It's actually enabling it. In particular, this shot here where we have our Peter Parker being sucked into the Spider-Verse. Basically, what I was able to do was bring our PNG image sequence into Stable Diffusion and run every single individual frame through as a different art style. So it creates a really cool effect. Another thing we're doing to blend these two different cinematic universes and art styles in a cohesive way is basically taking parts of the Spider-Verse that are really iconic, such as these Kirby dot elements. We actually start to see those really cool graphic images from the Spider-Verse appear in our real world scene. So once our Peter Parker is sucked into the Spider-Verse, we needed to kind of take some iconic MCU shots and reimagine them in that classic Spider-Verse style. We're basically taking our foreground characters and making it so that only every second frame of them is animated. It's something that the Spider-Verse movie uses to sell that 2D animated look despite it being CG characters. What I'm also doing is adding in that little comic splash. We added this big kaboom element behind when the little drone explodes. Another example of how we're kind of pushing the graphic style in this video to take some of that Spider-Verse feeling is a shot like this, where we're really going over the top with all the graphic elements. We basically took this Hulk from Ragnarok, ran it through Stable Diffusion to generate our face here. It just made this such a, you know, graphic looking shot. He has the white outline around him. He's got, we went in there and rotoed specifically his teeth so they really pop. So you can see here as we step through, we're not just basically, you know, taking the Hulk and throwing a Snapchat face filter on him. We're actually taking these images, breaking them apart, rebuilding them, piecing together different graphic elements, and ultimately adding on our own kind of look and style to this thing that's inspired by the incredible art that was done for the Into the Spider-Verse movie. So we still have a bunch of work to do on this project before it comes out this weekend, but because we did all of this work on the front end using all these AI tools, we're able to basically just be in this sandbox where we can pull all these different images that we've created using AI and create this really awesome final collage of images.
Fenner and I have been cranking on these Spider-Verse shots. Almost every shot of this piece we've edited together is a VFX shot. We're essentially making an animated short film. And it hasn't just been us. Jordan has been working on some sick renders, and Peter is working on the final shot of the piece. So we're getting really close to the finish line, but I realize it's not complete unless we have as many Spider-Men as humanly possible appear. And for that, we're gonna have to do a deep dive on the most obscure Spider-Man. So, we are sitting down here for a very important reason. We are going to find all of the Spider-Man.
We're gonna find all of them.
And we're gonna figure out which ones will appear into the Spider-Verse. Now, they're working on the sequel to Into the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man 2099 is in the trailer, but we gotta get the cream of the crop.
You gotta get the ones that truly reward the die-hard.
70s Japanese Spider-Man.
Yes. Was that a freeze frame in the actual thing? I mean,
It's that.
Yeah,
it's that.
So we got that guy, of course. I just thought of one. Remember this game, dude? When we were kids, this was like
Cutting edge.
cutting
graphics.
edge. You're like, this is real.
Yeah.
And the whole city's like a cloud.
I have one that I'd like to submit, and it might be the greatest Spider-Man of all time. Golden Sponge Cake Spider-Man. He can only shoot Hostess snacks.
Yes! Yes!
It was supposed to be, I guess, like a cross promotion, but then it became canon.
Who would win? Golden Sponge Cake Spider-Man versus
He
Superman.
can only shoot Twinkies.
Yeah, he's going in there, son. Do you have another like crazy one like that?
Oh, maybe you're familiar. I think they call him Spider Monkey.
Marvel Apes.
Marvel Apes, that's what it's called. And honestly, Stable Diffusion puts hands for feet anyway, so.
What if we grab a shot of Caesar from Planet of the Apes? We EV synth a Spider-Man costume onto Caesar.
Yeah,
And then you just have a little tail come up.
it's pretty good.
He'll be on the list. Yeah, I think we got it, guys. I'll edit the final sequence together. Hopefully, we'll be able to fit them all into the piece and fulfill the promise that everybody's home. All right, everybody. I hit a button on my computer a week ago. And a video has popped out, and Fenner and I did nothing.
That's true.
That's not true. We spent a lot of time on this, and we're really excited about it because there's some cool new tech in it, but also there's a lot of love for the original Spider-Verse film. And yeah, I just want to hop into it, see what you guys think. Hey, what is this place?
It's the nexus of the multiverse, kid. Now shut up, because I don't remember which potion to put in this little cup. Oh yeah, this is the one.
Doctor Strange! What's happening to me?
Are you okay? I think so.
Are you from another dimension?
Well, it's a long story, but I'll make it quick. All right, let's do this one last time. My name's Peter Parker. I was bitten by a radioactive spider, and for 6 years, I've been the one and only Spider-Man. Well, I was dead for 5 of those years, but that's another story. I saved a bunch of people, fell in love, saved the city, and then the world. I even joined a team. You might have heard of them. Nah, not them. There was Captain America. Also, we had Hulk, Thor, Black Widow, Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Ant-Man, Falcon, the Winter Soldier, Vision, and oh, that guy with the bow and arrow. And I'll never forget my mentor, Mr. Stark. What else? Oh, there was this big purple guy. His chin kind of looked like... Huh? Oh. Who are these guys?
again.
Who are you guys anyway?
I gotta say, you look just like me.
Say my name and I magically appear. Who's next?
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye. Is this still part of the experiment? Beware my tasty hostess snacks!
That might be like the best use of stable diffusion up to this point on the planet.
And taking that meme and taking it to the power of 10,000, there's just like thousands of friggin' Spider-Man.
Special shout out to Peter, that shot.
If you had to guess how many different iterations of Spider-Man you guys generated with AI?
Hundreds. Yeah. Same with Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is a cowboy for a couple frames. It's pretty awesome.
And the twos there on freaking Thanos. Animating on the twos like you guys did is such a great touch. It just makes it feel so much more like it's a part of that universe.
Yeah. Like watching this right now, it's like I forget that this is being AI. Like a lot of this stuff is AI generated. I just get lost in the sauce of it. It's just like you guys have like seamlessly integrated the style of Spider-Verse.
What we didn't expect going into this was how stable diffusion would be so useful just for generating like still frames of backgrounds and like of course like the Spider-Man.
It's easy to dismiss how much actual hard work is here. It's like there's some AI stuff, but like 80% of this is just grit. You guys just like knuckling down and making it.
Fenner, like you brought that extra level of it having an artistic appeal to this thing, man.
Spider Boys.
It's worth noting too that I don't think that we would have gotten such good AI results here if we didn't already have such a realistic Spider-Man costume.
That was the biggest thing.
Dean? Good job, Fenner. Good job.
If you guys are interested in seeing how we're gonna keep pushing this technology here, hit that subscribe button, freaking like the video, I don't know, ring the bell, what else do they do? Hit our P.O. box. Hey.
I'm Spider-Man.
There's no way out of this bit now.
We can't stop.
Subscribe.